I think of all the stupid things I've done to mess this up, I fall apart. And I think about the ways you showed me love. I shake my head, it breaks my heart. I found myself in the shadows. I stuck myself in this hole. I threw myself in the battle. I made this bed on my own.
Thobela nda sanbonani lochane ke le hlohonolo la ledwaba right here more my side of the story.
My name is Evangelist Zanelo Kuche. You are watching the show My Side of the Story.
Basotho ba re lebitso lebe ke seromo. You know, many times people will listen to other stories about you, but they don't really know the story from you. And today we are so much privileged. We are with the prophetess, the woman of God. I understand she just arrived from USA. And we are with her right now in our studio. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing so well, man of God. Thank you so much for having me.
Good to see you. I thought you would say, yo, you know.
Oh, I've got the
accent.
American twang. Hello, everybody. This is Prophetess now.
Thank you so much for coming. We really appreciate getting you fresh from that side. This is my side of the story. And just before we get into the crux of the story, I just wanted to greet the people at home and let them know who you are, what are you busy with, who is this wonderful woman?
All right, greetings everybody at home. I'm Prophetess Namya, born in Mthatha in the Eastern Cape. A lot of people, they didn't believe. One time 2 years ago, I post I am Xhosa, I am South African. But no, we never knew. Maybe because I was married to a ninth South African, they kind of assumed that I also was in South African. And but apparently, when I preach, my accent is different. So I am South African. I'm a minister of the gospel. I'm a preacher, I'm a prophet of God, and I'm also a published author. I've published a book called Undefeated, which is a memoir. It talks about my story from my childhood traumas as a child and the many challenges that I've had to go through in life, through ministry and obviously through the divorce. So I've detailed all that in this beautiful book. Basically, it comes from the word of God that says, you fall 7 times, but you get up. Hence, it's undefeated and it's got a boxing ring in it. And I am one of those people that have been undefeated in spite of the challenges of this life.
Wow.
And I am a mom to 2 wonderful children.
Wow,
Yes.
wow. I'm feeling very much privileged to have you here, sitting down here, wearing the pink dress. It is a wonderful thing. Look, man, this is my side of the story. I just want you to know, Guti, what is the story that you have? Because I don't want to get into it. Are you married now? Maybe let me start there.
No, I'm not married anymore, Bishop. I used to be married.
You used to be married.
I used to be married.
You are no longer married.
I'm no longer married.
Who are you married to?
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I was married to a man of God, Apostle JP. He's originally from Cameroon. Yeah.
Maybe let's not round and just get into the side of your story. Let me say, what happened to because as we were speaking, writing to us and that you touched the issue of just from the beginning when you got into, when they heard that now you are getting married to the man of God in Cape Town, just right there was just a problem.
Exactly.
What happened? Maybe take us through.
Okay, I want to take you through that because I think from the get-go, I'll, for lack of a better word, I would say it feels like we're doomed from the get-go in a way.
Okay.
Because, well, I didn't know him, number one. We got
Where
married.
did you meet?
Facebook.
You are powerful.
Well,
Hey, Facebook is powerful. People, please at home, Facebook too, you
Answer
can
your
get
inbox.
a man.
I'm joking.
Yeah.
Well, we met on Facebook.
Okay.
I didn't know him, and he inboxed me, and from the time he asked for my number on Facebook, he said, I know you're going to be my wife. And I was coming from a time of prayer, and I don't know whether maybe I was being overly spiritual or what was happening.
Okay.
Everything that they had taught me to do, I didn't do. I just believed him, because he didn't say, I want to be your boyfriend. He said, you're going to be my wife. And I got excited. At first I said no.
Yeah,
But
especially
then
he's not saying, I want to know you.
Yeah,
let's
no,
do
he
this.
just said, you're going to be my wife.
I want you to be my
I
wife.
want to be my wife.
Yes.
And I was like, wow, God, your promises are true. I think this is it.
Listening to the prophetess sharing a story, I heard her very clearly when she said that season, it was a season where they were from fasting and prayer period. And when she opened her Facebook and found this man of God saying, you are going to be my wife. Because she was in that season, she never went to inquire from the Lord to find out, Lord, is this your will? She took it for granted, your season, and now it's not everybody that will say, I love you. That is from God. One of the ways, as young people and single people, you must know this. You must build a strong relationship with God. You gotta be intimate. I cannot stress this. We gotta learn to be intimate. We gotta have young people that are truly fired up for God. Do not pretend to your pastor or to the church that you are spiritual. Be spiritual, because angeke ube close noThixo akulahlekise. God will, yes, still let you marry somebody and you will have challenges, but now that information that uThixo ndimlo ndikuyo kulento, because I told you from the beginning it's me. Ayikho because God has said this is your partner, you will not have challenges. You will still have challenges, but lendik confident in the challenge. But God knows. He knows the way that I take. You can confidently say like good job, but after he has tried me, I will come out.
Yeah.
So needless to say, 3 months later, we were married, and our first kiss was on our wedding day.
Wow,
Well, so we didn't really know each other, so we were in a long distance for 3 months.
Okay.
And then he went to pay Lobola, and we were
So
married.
you were in Johannesburg, he was in Cape Town
He was in
that time?
Cape Town
Okay.
that time.
Okay.
So fast forward 3 months later, now that we got married, I had to relocate to Cape Town.
Okay.
And that time I had a church in Johannesburg, and I had to leave that. And because obviously he said we cannot build two visions.
Yeah.
So, and I also wanted to be fully in and support his vision. So I moved to Cape Town. Well, the thing is, before I moved to Cape Town, he invited, just before the marriage, he invited me for a conference there. By the grace of God, big conference. Everybody in the church loved me at that time. They celebrated me.
Okay.
Until they
So
found
that time he invited you, you
as
were
a
a
guest
speaker.
speaker.
Guest speaker, okay.
And nobody knew that he wanted to marry me.
Okay.
Fast forward, as soon as they announced that he wants to marry me, and I said, the same people were celebrating me.
Eish.
Nothing prepared me for the hate I received. I will not lie. I thought I was going to get the same reception that they had given me when I was a guest speaker.
So the church hated you.
The church.
Abazalwane
They
hated you.
kakhulu.
The men chose you. The church hated you.
Yes, even
They could not accept you.
Even hate does not, because how do you hate somebody ongamaz? Like they didn't know me, but they never even gave me a chance to go to Bangazi for who I am. Every time, like as soon as I got there, groups were formed that the prophetess from Johannesburg must die.
Eish.
They would do prayer meetings.
The marriage is new. The
New.
guy loves you. The church is fasting against you to die.
My biggest crime was saying yes, I guess, to the man of God. And
Oh.
bengamazi, and when somebody says they want to marry you, uzotini, you like them, also you want to marry them, you said yes. So, and this is the church. So the church said, I'm a fake prophetess, I have bewitched their men of God to choose me. And really, when you get to the crux of the matter, to try to understand why they didn't want me, it was simply because I was from Johannesburg.
Ivan Belap, because she was coming from Johannesburg. We are getting to it. Stay tuned. We are coming back.
I made this bed on my own.
Welcome back, more my side of the story. Remember, I'm your host, Lishonolo Lali Doba. I'm sitting with the prophetess Nam. And before the story, those who just joined us, she said something very wonderful, that she got married to a man of God from Cape Town, and they met on Facebook. And, just to fast forward, when they got married, the church fasted, and they wanted the woman of God to die. And her crime was to fall in love with Baba. and then come with us as we are continuing. So now they hated you. You stayed. Did the men of God at that time protect you and what? So how did you handle that? Now they are hating you. Things are happening. To take us through.
It was very hard. It was very hard, man of God, because at the same time, I felt like my husband at that time could have done so much to protect me as well, because I didn't do anything wrong. And I think that's where really the rift in our marriage started as well, because I was going through the most. To give you an example, some of the ladies would enter the church and say, our office, and they would say, "Greetings, Papa." Then they would look away and walk away. I think in that moment
And
he could have said, and I'm sitting. I think in that moment he could have at least said, "Don't enter my office unless you greet my wife." Just something as simple as that. So I felt like he didn't protect me. As a result, the people had more power. They felt like they carried power more than me. So I even went through the most. I was always depressed. For the first 6 months of moving to Cape Town, I couldn't even preach.
There was
because
no honeymoons.
There was never a
You
honeymoon.
don't
It
know
was
what
war.
honeymoon is.
It was war. It was war. People were holding prayers in the church to say the prophetess must die. Every time I enter, they say prophetess must die. The prophetess of Joburg must die. That I needed to die.
Uyazi, I'm going to say something. Uyabona abantu mabafundisiwe, they display leyo nto. I don't know the man of God. I don't know what he said, but the way the church reacted towards, I don't know what the pastor said to them. And I don't know the teachings he gives them. Because I don't believe ukuthi abantu ebandleni bangadelela to that extent. Umfundisi ababona and doesn't say anything. Why am I saying that? Uthi prophetess, they will come in the office and greet the servant of God. "Good morning, Papa," and don't say anything about her, and they just walk out. Something was happening there. There's something he said to them. And it's disappointing ukuthi naye he could not correct them. How does a woman or an elder or a member come into your office and greet you and never greet your wife? It is wrong in many ways. And I think something was just not right there. And for them to be confident and say, "We will pray and fast until this woman leaves the church." Something was very wrong there for this. I don't know what. I don't want to comment about it, but something was very wrong.
In the church.
In the church, the house of God.
In the house of God. I don't know which God they were praying to, but every time they were fasting, I must die. And that I am, and that's the narrative or the story that they were pushing, that now I'm evil, there's no way I could have gotten the man of God. I probably have used black magic to get him or whatever. But these were people who didn't even know me or know where I started or my story began. They didn't know anything.
Then it means if you are using Muti, your Muti is powerful because it was able to go through the Facebook. And the men of God just proposed to you on Facebook.
And I didn't even know.
And when you got there, they just hated you.
They hated me a lot. I experienced a lot of rejection. And I felt like in that moment also, it was so hard for me for the first 6 months to preach to them, because how do you preach? What do you say to God or say to the people that you know majority of them don't want you? What sermon was I going to preach?
And many of them, they were in the leadership, obviously.
Front row, first two front rows.
So was there a time where you felt like maybe they wanted somebody special, or they had somebody in mind for the men of God to marry?
Oh yes, they were there. They were there. And as we get to the divorce, you realize that is why that the first thing they did when they heard that the man of God and I are going through a divorce, instead of how we know the church to be, that if your spiritual parents are going through or your leaders are going through a challenge or they're saying that they're headed for divorce, I would expect the church to pray. But many of them were so happy. In fact, everybody who had left the church came back. These are people who didn't even like each other, but they just united for one common enemy, which was me.
So you guys have children?
We have children too.
So I can imagine, so that process of having children, how was it being pregnant? Was you expected men of God to be there, they're being happy and all this thing?
It was tough, because I think where the real crack in the marriage happened when I was pregnant. And first of all, anyway, the stress of the marriage and things that they were doing, the same church, I was under so much stress that with the first child, I had a miscarriage. And so with the second pregnancy, even though I was attending church until 7 months, nobody in the church knew I was pregnant. I hid the pregnancy for 7 months. And fortunately, at that time, I was so small and petite, nobody saw, because I knew that they would probably kill me and the child while I'm in the
When
church.
you are in the marriage, you are in the church,
Church.
you are the wife of the man of
Of
God,
God.
you are hiding,
But I'm
that
hiding.
you are even pregnant
That
because
I'm
you know
pregnant.
things will be worse. So let me hide. So you do not enjoy pregnancy?
No.
So,
I don't.
so now, what do you want to say to them? How do you want to, right now, to respond to them?
I feel like, you know what, well, I've forgiven them, but I feel like next time, especially because most of the hate came from women, I feel like they need to give people a chance, because they don't understand the emotional damage that they cause a person. You know, I mean, to cause a person so much depression to the extent that you have a miscarriage, I no longer even loved ministry. Every time I had to wake up and go to church, I mean, this had been something that I was doing for years, but for me to wake up and prepare a sermon, it became the hardest thing for me to do. They were really taking away from my love of God and from my love of ministry, because I knew that I'm going to a church where people did not like me at all.
So they did not like anything about you. So even when you step out of marriage, it was just like you were getting happy, like, wow, finally my freedom has come.
I felt like it hurt, but I felt like actually they were having a better party than I was, because for me, I think at that time,
the witch is gone
The
now.
witch is gone. Our prayers have finally worked. The witch from Joburg is going back to
You did
Joburg.
not die. We are taking the break. Stay tuned. We will be back.
I made this bed on my own.
Welcome back, my side of the story. If you just joined us, you are not lost. And thank God right now, we are with our coach, evangelist Zanele in the house. You are welcome, Mom. You are so much welcome. We welcome you. And always when you speak and I'm watching this and I'm saying, my God, there are things that I'm getting as you open your mouth. Such wisdom can only come in from God. I'm going to come back to you. Just before we go deeper into this thing, is there something you want to say maybe to your husband, the church, people that hated you so much without knowing anything? You get into this people's, space and boom, you experience just hatred. They fast that you die. You don't know why are you dying. They are not greeting you. They are greeting Papa. Papa is not protecting you. Is there something you want to say before I allow the coach to come in?
Okay, thank you. I think for me, it's two people, because I don't think I'm the only one who's gone through what I went through. I just want to say to the church, get to know people. Give people a chance, and to husbands out there, protect your spouses. I mean, even the women, actually, if people are speaking bad about your spouse, I think protect them. And I think more than anything, my focus would be on other women, especially women of God who are going through the same thing, to say to them, you know what, when all is said and done, it doesn't matter what people say about you. People will betray you, people will lie on you, people will slander your name like they did with mine. But stick with your truth, be authentic. As I always say, is that a lie has speed, but truth has endurance. God will always vindicate you if you stay true to yourself.
Okay. Well, wonderful story. Very painful though. Actually, there was a time where I thought I would see you crying. But, well, it means God is doing something. Vela, let me keep quiet. Let me allow my coach to come in.
Greetings, Prophetess. It's good to see you. The story of Prophetess is one of many. I mean, one thing I'm just reminded as I was listening to her, it's the book in the Bible, the book of John 13:33. What Jesus says, in this world, we'll have many tribulations. If you are in the office that she's in, as all of us preachers, one thing you must know, you will get undeserving challenges. You will get arrows that will fly your way, not because of anything, because of the name of the Lord. And if you faint in the days of your tribulations or your trials, that means your faith is small. That is the time where that endurance should show off and come in. Abantu will always say a lot of things about people. I mean, if umuntu, my spiritual father said to me, "Wabkumbi, ukuthi Zanele, aso wonke umuntu ozokuthanda usiyimali." Yabona imali ithanda wonke, ihlanya la ithanda imali, ihlanya elihlanyayo. Mawungalinika imali uthi letha la ngeke kunike back. So I say Mali, there are people who won't like us. Some they won't like us because of who we are, because they see things that we don't see ourselves. I mean, you find with Nkonzweni, they are comrades, people that just come together because they are common goal. They've got one, they don't even love each other. These people, they don't even love each other. They've got a common enemy, which was her. They've got a common enemy, which is you at home. You find your neighbors coming against you. And the enemy is just you. Once you move, don't think everything happened because of you. Once you move, they don't love each other, they will fight again. They are just friends of convenience because they were facing you. But one thing for sure, you are still standing. And I love what the prophetess said in the beginning. Uguti, and just to say, especially to the girls in the church, when it comes to marriage, you gotta inquire correctly from the Lord. I love the truth she told. But I know we met, and when he said that, because I was from fasting prayer, then he said, the most important thing, go and inquire from the Lord. Because it's not everything that comes. It's not everybody that says, Lord, Lord. Not everybody that says Lord, Lord. So wakota the most important thing. I think as a lesson that she's sharing Nabantu Guti, when it comes to marriage, inquire from the Lord. Because somebody is preaching at the altar does not mean he's your husband. Unkulunkulu must build in shock absorbers in that man to handle you. These are two powerhouses. He was a powerhouse prophet. He's a powerhouse prophet. They came together and the people realized that we can't continue with our nonsense in the church. One must go. And probably this was an easy target to go. Whatever the case was, I don't know their business and I don't want to know. But the disappointing thing is to find people in the house of God using scriptures incorrectly to say somebody must die.
Take time to know the person. Take time. I think the greatest thing that I wish I had done is to take time. I think umuntu, yes, umuntu was wrong, but also from your side, get to know even the family you're getting married into, get to know even the church that you are about to step into. I think into you as a Christian sometimes, especially for me, if you are dating for long, you've got a boyfriend who's a prophetess, you guys are having sex before marriage. I was scared of all those things, so I was hoping then so are right. But with that being said, forget people. Take your time. Like, you would rather one back busy, even if you engage, rather be Lord of the Rings and keep that ring for the longest until you are certain that the person is the one.
Speak to yourself. Wait on the Lord. Wait on the Lord. Do not allow pressure. Not all that glitters is gold. Not all that. You cannot make up powder. It's only illegal. At some point you'll get tired. Make sure you marry right. Marry within the will of God, so that you know this is the will of God. My she's always good. I am within the will of God. The will of God, is strength. So good. He has given me weapons to fight this battle because He told me this is my territory. So you are 30, you are young. Continue. There are people who are 50. I met a woman who got married at the age of 40. What a wedding! Filled with the presence and the anointing of God. Mlindo Jehovah. If you force yourself, you're going to do it wrong and you're going to be miserable. For your own heart, wait. Don't waste your money on your wedding day that you know is not of God.
Thank you so much. What a wonderful time that we had with you. Thank you so much, Coach. You always are the best. And from me, Liwena, you can do the same as the Prophetess has done. Wangwala, SMS, Waromela, WhatsApp. The numbers are on the screen. You can write to us. We'll surely respond. This is the side of my story. Stay blessed.
Hi, viewers. I'm Prophetess Nam, and this was my side of the story.
When I think of all the stupid things I've done to mess this up, I fall apart. And I think about the ways you showed me love. I shake my head, it breaks my heart. I found myself in the shadows. I stuck myself in this hole. I threw myself in the battle.